Whoa, we finally got it. We got more Captain Planet coming at you. The Planeteers unite. Captain Planet gets summoned and new villains is introduced. Yo, what are we waiting on? Roll that intro, cuss. Yeah. What's going on, Geek Corner? This is your boy, Earthsmack, the mad scientist, and welcome back to the Orange Phoenix Media channel and another episode of Comic Book Declassified. So today, we're covering just a little bit of Captain Planet number 2, and we're jumping into Captain Planet number 3, man. You might want to stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to give you my personal review of this series so far. So let's jump into it. So where Captain Planet number 2 picks up at, they're introduced the Planeteers to each other. You got Kwame and G, and you see somewhat of a flirtatious type of relationship between the two. We'll see what happens in the future, but that type of feeling don't last very long because they get caught up by so-called police officers, because these are not really police officers, because they don't wear their typical police officer gear. They're just saying, hey, we are from this 86th division and we'll come to apprehend you. There's no rhyme or reason to that. They didn't do anything wrong. They're just existing. That's basically what it is. But this division has been hired by Lucian Plunder because Lucian Plunder has Gaia hostage, and with Gaia being hostage and the rings no longer in her possession, he is basically seeking the rings that each of the Planeteers are holding. Now, it goes to them being in the back of this van, and then Kwame basically makes the discovery, say, hey, I got hardware on my finger, you got hardware on your finger, how about we use our respective abilities and, break out of this place? And, that's what they did. They basically broke out and they made a phenomenal team together. So these two are together, but now you jump over to Linka and Wheeler. So Wheeler's abilities, just by when you think about it, it seems like it's uncontrollable in a sense. It doesn't really highlight that too much, but he was in a crowd full of folks and his ring just reacted. It took out this police vehicle. Linka sees this. They get into it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Linka's serving them hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, Wheeler is having a difficult time with Linka. But you go up to where they're having a misunderstanding to Kwame and G showing up to interrupt this. Like, hey, what are you guys doing? So at this point, Wheeler and Linka put a pin in what they got going on. And he's like, yo, you want to switch dance partners? Because, and she says, only if you call me Linka. So they go after it. But now you go to Mati. Now, this is the very unique thing about Mati, because in the cartoon, even growing up, like, Mati wasn't everybody's favorite. Like, he was the weakest person out of everybody, right? Like, everybody wanted to be earth, water, wind, fire. Like, what does heart do? Like, you know what I mean? So, but in this particular comic, Mati gets the just due respect he absolutely deserves, because Mati was the one who actually stopped everyone from fighting. He was like, listen, he's somewhat of a telepath with his ring. And he's like, yep, we got to communicate with each other. We got some things going on. We all are the same. We all have the same goal in mind, which moves over to issue number 3, because at the end of issue number 2, they actually summoned Captain Planet. So Commander Bleak is coming after the Planeteers at the behest of Lucian Plunder. Now, Captain Planet is fully powered at this point, and he said, listen, kids, y'all get behind me. I got y'all protected. And he was able to do that. But the thing is, when you summon Captain Planet, the Planeteers can no longer use their abilities. So they're basically in a weakened state. They have to depend on Captain Planet to do what they need them to do. So Captain Planet is making quick work of Commander Bleak and the rest of the crew, but he's having a difficult time, like, fighting and protecting everyone else. Now, he was able to save Mati, and he basically expressed, like, that was a brave thing you did, Mati, but how'd you know I'd make it in time? He's like, I didn't, Cap, but I know your heart better than most, and you're someone who doesn't want to see anybody die. Now, in that little bit of a distraction, you notice that Captain Planet is weak to hazmat. He is weak to pollution. So right now he's getting weakened. Everybody else is pretty much inhaling this gas. But in this last ditch effort, Captain Planet summoned wind to pretty much get the gas out the way so he can actually escape. Now you discovered that Captain Planet is in a weakened state and he has to disappear for a while. He has to go away. And he also expresses the history of him being Captain Planet. He says the 5 acolytes brought together to protect Gaia, the high priestess of the earth. Across every generation, the high priestess acts as the vessel for our world's primal energies. Now, the last time I failed to protect them, it was millions of years ago. I fought with all I had to hold back the inevitable. But as it turned out, the asteroid had other plans. So G's like, wait, did you seriously watch the dinosaurs go extinct? And Kwame is like, but Captain, what can 5 people do to avert such calamity? So you know the history of Captain Planet. He was around in Pompeii, and it says from the very beginning of life itself, there have always been 2 champions, the elemental guardian, which is Captain Planet, and the high priest of Earth. You fast forward to South China, it says one served as an immortal avatar, harnessing the 5 primal forces of creation. The other was a human vessel chosen every generation as the conduit for our world's life-giving energies. Now, across countless millennia, the guardian and the high priestess vow to protect the earth and all of its inhabitants. And as they channel together the ancient magic of the 5 elemental rings. So we learned that the 5 Planeteers that are together, that are separate, that have their own respective rings. From what I'm guessing is that this is the first time that it's been split between individuals. Throughout history, it's only been one particular person holding all 5 rings and able to call Captain Planet whenever it's needed. It's just been passed on to the next priestess, to the next priestess, to the next priestess. But now we see this thing as unique. But before Captain Planet leaves, he actually gives Kwame instructions. He said, listen, Kwame, you always were the bedrock, even before the ring found you. You shouldn't be forced to carry such a burden, but you must lead the others until I can return. So Kwame is being made the leader. Now, some people is not happy about that. Obviously, Wheeler is a little bit of a hater. You know what I'm saying? He's like, so great, except I don't know how long we'll make it with old Rocky here in charge. Like, bro, you cannot be in charge, okay? You can't be in charge, bro. You got your ass whipped by Lincoln, like on site, right? On site. Like, you just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. But we go further into it, and Mati says, but when the ring found me, it purged all hatred from my heart. And no matter what the cost, I'll never raise a hand again. Now, the thing about Mati and how badass he is, because you go back to issue number 1, and issue number 1, he came dangerously close of taking out some poachers. And he openly said, like, listen, yesterday I might have killed you all, but considering what this ring is, I had a change of heart. Because he openly expressed the fact that, you know, before he found the ring or the ring found him, he had vengeance in his heart. Like, he had no qualms about taking out poachers or people that were destroying their environment. Like, he had no qualms about taking your life. So go back to Lincoln and Wheeler. Now, Lincoln and Wheeler might have a little bit of a flirtatious type of relationship going on. Maybe we're going to see them jump into a deeper relationship as it goes further. But G was able to find some information on Dr. Blight. Now, Dr. Blight is another villain in Captain Planet when it comes to the cartoon. But you see her pretty much being asked for help, because G was like, listen, we need your help with this situation. Can you help us, you know, figure some things out? But it quickly tells us that Dr. Blight is not for the Planeteers. Dr. Blight is for Lucian Plunder. It's like, listen, we got some people here. You might want to handle that. And so Lucian, like, thank you for your prompt call, Doctor. I can assure you that you will be reimbursed handsomely for your cooperation. But in the meantime, I would suggest you evacuate the area immediately. And that is when you see Duke Nukem. Huh? Nope, not that Duke Nukem, but this Duke Nukem. The Duke Nukem that has these gauntlets that shoots out radioactive waste. I wouldn't say radioactive waste, but let's just say you shouldn't be touched by it. Okay, like when he was introduced in the first pages of issue number 3, like he done took out a few people. Like it was not good. Like this ain't your daddy's Captain Planet cartoon, right? This is straight up comics. Like people will lose their lives if they're not careful. So Lucian Plunder takes on the Planeteers, but at this point in time, Captain Planet is still in a weakened state because Mati is able to sense the strength levels of Captain Planet. Because like, listen, we need Captain Planet and we need him now. Mati's like, nah, we can't use him at this point because he's still in a weakened state. But it's up to us to take him out. So Duke Nukem proves to be a little tough for the Planeteers. But at the same time, Linka basically gives Kwame some advice. She says, listen, we're a 5-man band, and the only way we'll survive is by playing off each other. But before all that, they were distracted by Mati, because Mati was able to get inside Duke Nukem's head temporarily and was able to have the Planeteers come too. Now, from that standpoint, Fire and Earth was combined with Kwame and Wheeler combining their abilities, and it was able to land some punches on Duke Nukem and able to knock him out. Now you fast forward to them escaping the facility. G gets what she needs because she says, wow, you all battled Duke Nukem. I was able to snag the good doctor's backup drives. And with this data, I think we can triangulate Gaia's exact location. So this is where Wheeler be on some bitch shit. Okay, because Wheeler is quickly becoming the most least liked Planeteer out of all of them. He says, don't use your freaky powers on me, Mati. We all nearly died back there, and now we got to deal with robots and radioactive men. It's insane. And she's like, listen, Ruski, I'm just a regular auto worker, understand? And this is already way too much for me. I don't know, maybe I just ain't cut out to be a hero. And so he's like, I'm sorry, gang, but from here on in, you guys are on your own. And then you see him hanging out in this balcony. He was like, hanging out with these folks was going to wind up getting you hurt. So why do I still feel like garbage about leaving? You should feel like garbage. But he's interrupted by Lucius Plunder. He's like, honestly, I've always admired people who give so much of themselves. My name is Lucien Plunder, and I'd like to offer you a deal. So maybe some shady dealings might be going on with Wheeler. So I'm doing like this turning point, but yes, Wheeler is on some bitch shit. He definitely on some bitch shit. Now we reach to the end of issue number 3. One thing I will say about the first 3 issues of Captain Planet and the Planeteers is that it takes a darker tone into Captain Planet. I know with Captain Planet on the cartoons, it's a little bit more lighthearted in a way. Going back to look at it, yeah, it did have some dark elements in it, but I do like the fact that it's taking a different spin with Captain Planet and the Planeteers. You go into the lore of Captain Planet and the Planeteers. And for those individuals that say, oh, Captain Planet's woke, it always has been. You know what I'm saying? It always has been. The primary focus of Captain Planet has always been to protect the environment, because if you do not protect the environment will turn on you. And that's just real life shit. That's real life stuff right there. Take care of the environment. Take care of the air quality and all this other stuff. So, I mean, I think in this day and age, in this climate, I feel like Captain Planet is definitely needed to be read, and it definitely need to be on TV once again. I don't care where you can put it on TV. You can actually put it on Netflix again, if all I care. But Captain Planet is a great read. You should definitely pick this up. Issues 1 through 3 is out right now. You already know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button and that notification bell. So until next time, y'all, peace.